So over here we have Nick. He's got super long hair. He's got really coarse hair on the sides as well. So we're gonna prep him up by giving him a hair wash. So I'm just gonna keep the hair damp so we could make it a lot easier to cut the hair. Usually when it's dry, it's a little bit harder to cut. So I got a gold pair of Mitsutanis here. These are really good. These are about 6 inches. So now I'm just gonna be looking at his hair and how it moves before I start cutting away. So Nick has really good length here to work with. We're probably gonna take half the length out just because we are going for more of a spring-summer look, which is gonna be shorter and cleaner and easier to maintain for him. So the first thing I'm doing is actually creating the guide. So this is important because right here in the center part of his hair, located right on top of the apex, which is the highest point of the head, is where I'm gonna be setting the guide so that I could follow the guide anywhere I go. So I created the guide from the top and come behind. So anywhere I cut him, vertical, horizontal, I could always go back and find that guide. So for example, if I'm sweeping the hair this way, I know I made the center guide right over here, right in the middle, as I comb the hair. But when you do find and pick up the hair, you want to grab it from the scalp and pull it up, have a lot of tension. And right over here, I can see the guide, it's right over here. So I'm just gonna follow that guide, go straight across. You never wanna cut past your second knuckle. If you cut past your second knuckle, there'll be times, most likely, you'll probably snip a piece of your skin off. I've had that in hairstyling school, so you wanna avoid that. Okay. Cleaner sections will create a sharper and all even hair. Also, when you're giving tension with the hair, if you're a little sloppy, and for example, I pick up the hair, I pull it, but I don't have complete tension, the hair is gonna drop and feel, it's not as straight. So it actually messes up the whole haircut, where if I were to hold it not tight and I cut it like this, the haircut would actually come all uneven like the hair. So I'm just prepping. I'm gonna go back to the top after I fade his hair. I just wanna make sure everything's prepped up and clean to work with. And usually with the bangs as well, usually when you're doing comb over, it's usually not past their eyebrows. So I like to cut it just right at the eyebrows, keep it nice and clean. Now we have a lot easier area to work with. You can see the sides, you can see the hair, everything's very visible on where I want to cut. For the sides, I really want to take the bulk down. So I'm going to grab number 4 clip, put on the clipper. Now I'm just going to take the bulk from the sides. So I want to come from the bottom, do a C shape. So you're actually coming off the hair, coming off the head. Okay? And I'm going against the grain. So the direction of how his hair grows, I'm going against it. So his hair actually moves to the side a little bit. It has more of a diagonal movement to the side. So it's moving to the right. As I comb it down, it keeps trying to force to the right. So it's important to understand how the hair moves. So I'll be going against it and going the opposite way. And I'm just gliding the clipper and combing off the head. So you could already tell that, look at all that bulk I got taken out. It's a lot more smoother. Whereas on this side, there's a lot more bulk. So his hair on this side, on his right side, grows actually more heavily to the left. So it doesn't even, it's very difficult to actually make it go down. So I'm gonna be going against the grain like I did the first one. If I were to go against the hair, going straight up, and the hair is going to the left, you might not catch all the hairs. That's why it's so important to go against the grain at all times when you're fading. So understanding how the hair flows is super important. You'll be spending more time trying to go against the hair over and over if you're not doing it right. Whereas if you knew how to do it right, which is going against the grain, takes a couple swipes and you're good. Now that I took out the bulk, now I'm going to start the guideline, the first guideline. So we are doing a bald fade. Bald fade meaning zero fade, skin fade. A lot of people call it different things. The bald fade is a very popular modern day haircut. These days a lot of people want it nice and short as possible so the haircut lasts longer. It only takes about 2 to 3 weeks till the growth phase happens, and then the client usually comes back after 2 to 3 weeks. So usually fading the hair takes a little bit of work with your arms. You want to keep it very squared with the client in the chair. Keep your posture straight up. So usually if I wear like a tighter jean jacket like I'm wearing here, it's a little bit tight. I like to take it off so I feel like I'm at ease and I can move around a little bit more smoother. Alright, so let's put my jacket aside. Yeah, so we're going to be doing, usually with the mid fade, I'm going to bring it a little bit lower, so a mid-low fade actually. Where the temples are, that's where I'm going to start it, just a little bit below the temples. I'm going to guide it, the guide line, and drop it down here, and then flow all the way on both sides. So what I like to do is just create the first guide line. So you're going to see a drastic change with the hair color and the hair, where you're going to see a lot more lighter hair. So it's going to go from light to dark, but it's a pretty heavy line we're creating first. Don't worry about that. I know it looks funny in the beginning, where it looks like it's like a bowl cut, but that's not the case. You want to keep clean guide lines so the haircut comes out really clean. The cleaner the guide line is, the cleaner your haircut is going to become. You always want to use a mirror. So if I'm looking at this side, I want to copy the exact on that side. I want to be able to look at this side. I'm looking at the mirror. I'm looking at it, and it's the same. So I could turn the chair. You can kind of see both sides. We're both the same. So the mirror is your best friend. We're doing a low drop in the back. So you want to keep it a little bit more like a round. So kind of like a half moon. And also when a client has their beard, you're going to want to fade in eventually, right? So you also don't want to start the zero. Never do it under the ear. Like if you start doing the zero fade and you start clipping it over here, unless they want the beard fade lower and you understand you've cut the client before, you want to actually stop the zero fade right at the ear. Any lower could also disrupt like the whole fade. So don't worry about the beard till the end. You could do that later on. What we're focusing on is just the haircut. So after taking the bulk down, now I got to get rid of this line. This is the first guideline I created. So I actually have a 0.5 placed in my clipper. And I'm just going to go against the line. Couple strokes up and down, brush, brush, brush. You always want to have a clean canvas, right? So it's important to have a brush in handy so you can take out that line and also get all the little hairs that you do cut out of the way. Some people get confused every time they cut. Like if I were to cut like this, the little hairs will fall into the fade and you're like, oh, I thought I cut that part, but really it's just the hair that fell and it looks like there's still a line. So here I'm still going against the grain. But obviously there's like finer detail now, that because the hair is a lot shorter. So I'm just going around and going against the grain. So now taking off that line, I'm going to keep the clipper open. So lever is open. This is a 0.5. And I'm just going to go and use the tips of the blade, 1/4 of the blade, and keep it in an angle as I'm going against the grain, just to kind of catch all the little hairs that I missed. And I'm going to want to just focus on one area first, so section by section. I don't have to go do the complete head. So I'm focusing here right now, and then I'm gonna close the lever, and that's a 0. I'm just gonna swipe that line out. So what I'm doing is I'm actually using the corner of the blade to pick those dark spots out. Then I'm gonna work on the next section. Going behind the ear. You got to be careful here. With most people, they have a protruding bone. So right behind the ear, there's a bone here called the mastoid bone. So that bone usually creates like dips in the head shape. So you just got to be careful. You want to avoid that area so you don't create like a hole. So I kept it a little bit lower than the mastoid bone so I could keep it darker and well blended. And I worked around it. And what I like to do as well when I'm fading, because there's a lot of shadows in the sides and back of the hair, when you're cutting as well, if you can't see, you could actually direct the head towards the natural lighting or wherever the best lighting is. Now I can see all the shadows are gone, and I could actually see all the dark spots now where I could go over. And then going to the back, you can put your head down. Ask the client, Nick, to put his head down a little bit. Now I can see all the dark areas. So this is the secret weapon to bring it down to bald. When guys want it to skin fade, this is the machine for it. It's actually the Baby Bliss Profile Shaver. Love this tool.